we can go over to the next side, the large rivers. I'm sorry, we are going to the coast. I will come to the large river later. We go to the coastal area where there are mud flats. A lot of muds and muddy water, and the water is full of nutrient, like those biomass inside, the zooplankton, and all sorts of plankton. So all the plankton feeder, and those who want to avoid people, they go to the coast. I'll show 10 birds of the coast. This is majestic goose, bar-headed goose, not threatened. We find them in large number. Another goose-like big bird is common shelduck. We have two shelducks, but this is very special because this is so strange looking bird. A huge bird, all white but black head, red bill, and the bands, color bands of the body. And this is special that it comes in very large number. We counted 100,000 once. That was 10 years back, but still it is large number, not a problem. We don't have to worry too much about this bird, but this bird we have to worry about. This is the black-headed ibis. The other ibis I have shown as the bird of Haur, which is glossy ibis, which though number in Bangladesh is growing, right now it is 100, but all over the world it's okay. But this bird, the black-headed ibis, all over the world the number is dwindling, and it is considered near threatened. We still have, in Bangladesh, we can count 400 birds every winter. But this one, the Eurasian spoonbill, though globally not threatened, but these three are the last bird of Bangladesh. We just see 3 birds. We have, for years we haven't seen more than 3 birds in Bangladesh. This is large bird, and it can live only in the coast. We don't know why the number has dwindled in Bangladesh so drastically, but it has. We have no information. There's a lot of work we should do on this bird. Then another bird that is globally vulnerable, but it survives only as long as the right habitat exists in Bangladesh, because it exists in only Indian subcontinent. It's called Indian skimmer. There are only 3 species of skimmers in the world. Skimmers are very strange bird. All birds have the bills, 2 bills, the lower and upper 2 mandibles, either equal or the upper one is slightly bigger or bent down. This bird is very different. The lower mandible is very large, upper one is small. You can see in this photograph also, because its hunting technique is this. The lower mandible, though long, it is very thin. It puts into the water and flies over the water, right over the water. So it has to develop a different flying technique also. It cannot beat the wing very deep. It has to fly with shallow wing beats. Otherwise it will put the wing into the water. So it grazes over the water, and with that stick-like bill inside the water. And if there is any fish flying near the surface of the water, it is disturbed and it jumps and goes into its mouth. It just, you will see it just dropping its upper mandible whenever the fish comes there. So, for that bird, for the survival of that bird, what we need? A lot of fish floating on the surface, meaning a lot of water in, a lot of fish in the water, which is gradually disappearing. Because it cannot hunt, it is an opportunistic feeder, and it goes feeding that way, it will probably disappear because we are decimating the fish population all over the world, and especially in Bangladesh. It survives only in winter. All birds come, all birds of the world, whole entire population of this bird come to Nijumdi, the Mukhtaria channel. That is the only where still they can feed. So we see them feeding there by 1,000, at least 1,500 birds still we can count there. It is also breeding. We have just discovered this year that it is breeding in the chors of Chapai Nawabganj, the river chor. But we have to work there to save those chors. These are the new islands coming up in the river, and it's all sand. So they go and nest there. We saw that there's a man who is, would you kindly stand up, who discovered photographed the nests of Indian skipper, first time in Bangladesh. So he discovered that this bird is nesting there. We are very happy. First time we saw that this bird nests in Bangladesh. But that was not a very happy story. We stopped everybody from going there, that this is a special bird, we shouldn't, nobody, no photographer, no so-called ornithologist go there and disturb it. So we went after 1 month to find what happened. By now the chicks should be hatching, and even if we go see from the boat, it may not do a lot of harm. We went and found nothing. And then after interrogating the villagers, we discovered that this is the chore through which the cow are brought from India. It's right on the Indian border, and they brought from to Chapai-Nawabganj Ghat and taken to all over Bangladesh. And one day, 18,000 cow walked through that chore and nothing survived. So we don't want it to happen this year. We are working. I have already had a meeting with the Divisional Commissioner of Rajshahi. We'll do, and the Chief Conservator of Forest, and we are sending a paper to them to save that chore this year. And because it's not that we are not stopping cow from coming, there are many other chores. The one that these birds select, we want the government to just protect it by just bamboo or something, and ask the villagers to do the smuggling in other chores. Through other chores they are open. We are not trying to stop them. That we are not so strong yet. Okay, but we need to save this particular island, and it will be shameful if the same thing happens this year. This is globally vulnerable bird, and all the birds of the world are dependent on Bangladesh for survival. The last 1,500 or 2,000 surviving. There is another place in India where it breeds, of course, but in winter they have to come to Bangladesh for survival. This is another very special bird of Bangladesh. This is again globally near threatened, and this is special. We didn't even know that this is special. We saw by the thousand in Bangladesh. This is a large water bird with a big bill and also big legs. But 5 years back, a satellite tag was put on its back in Siberia to find how it travels to lands like Bangladesh and other places, Australia, New Zealand. And it was found that 4 birds flew non-stop for 9 days and 9 nights and reached New Zealand. Scientists can't explain how can a little bird, is just 200 grams, can do that, fly continuously. We know birds migrate, but not such a small bird continuously flying 9 days, 9 nights, no food, no water, no sleep. And how does it control perspiration? Like how does retain its body water? We just don't know, but we know for sure it does it every year. And it has been repeatedly shown that they do it very well. This is another near threatened bird of the coast, Eurasian curlew of the waders, of the shorebirds. This is the largest and most beautiful. And this is, we even didn't dream 10 years back that this could be near threatened. We had by the thousands in coast. And when it was categorized globally near threatened, we thought somebody made a mistake. But we soon realized, no, the numbers started falling, and we don't see this bird more than 200-300 at the coast now. This is the only critically endangered bird of Bangladesh that I will show. We have another critically endangered bird, which is vulture. I'm not showing that. I hope it is very well known that we are making attempts to save that bird from disappearance. But this one is a little bird with a peculiar bill, a spoon-like bill. That's down to you can distinguish it. There are 2 birds. One is not spoonbill sandpiper, but another spoonbill sandpiper with that bill. There are only, say, 300 pairs of birds surviving in the world, and for survival, they need Myanmar and Bangladesh, because in winter these are the only two places where they live. The Martaban, which is the Bangladesh um, border, Martaban coast, and our Charles, especially Shanadia. And when Shanadia was selected for this deep water port, we were in deep trouble. Like we thought this is the last place where this bird survived, we are going to sacrifice that for a port. Thankfully, this probably is not a big issue now. This bird needs Shunadia. As of now, we see the largest number of the 100 birds that come to Bangladesh live in this island. Coast has many raptors, as we call it, the hunters, but the largest one is that greater spotted eagle, which is a globally vulnerable bird, and nowadays we see them only in the coast. This is the other hunter of the coast. It can be seen even in Dhaka, but we see mostly at the coast. That's why we are mentioning it as a birds of the coast. Peregrine falcon. That's the fastest creature on earth, not fastest bird. No creature can go as fast as this. Its speed is 300 kilometers per hour. The other runner-up is 150 kilometers, meaning half of its speed, which is another bird, of course. We can see that bird also in Bangladesh. I haven't brought the photo, but this ordinary looking bird, it's a little bird, but we call it ababil, swallow. Very recently it is discovered that it can also gain a speed of 150 kilometers occasionally. With that, 10 birds, we are concluding with the coast. We now go over to the large rivers. These birds that we show as the birds of large river are seen elsewhere, but mostly we see them at the rivers. This is the other shelduck. We have shown you the shelduck, common shelduck. This is the ruddy shelduck that you can see large bird, chokachoki. It was probably the bird for the poets of old Bengal, because in the old literature we find mention of this bird repeatedly. This bird is doing pretty well, but not the other birds of the river. All large birds have problems in the world, all over the world, especially in Bangladesh. Large, big birds have no future really. You will see that large birds of the river are all either globally vulnerable or near threatened. This is the Asian woolly neck. It exists only in the large rivers of Bangladesh, especially in the Rajshahi division, and it is globally vulnerable bird. Rajshahi division is a very good place for this bird because in large number we see those. Large meaning 7 is a very large number. I just saw 7 birds last year. This year, another stork, we are showing the storks. Large storks are large birds. And this is the painted stork. This is near threatened globally, but in Bangladesh is considered critically endangered because we have so few. The other near threatened stork, black-necked stork, a few we see in Howrah, but mostly seen in the rivers. This black-necked stork we see in Rajshahi division again in some numbers. So Rajshahi division, both Chapai-Nawabganj and Rajshahi, the Padma river is very, very important for those so many threatened birds. This is another birds of the same area, black-bellied tern, which is endangered, meaning for us it is critically endangered. We have found few places, only few individuals, and Uh, when we went to see the nest of Indian skimmer, we of course didn't find any there, but fortunately we found that at least one pair of this bird is nesting there, hopefully successfully, because it came threatening me, meaning it probably has a chick nearby. Usually this bird keeps a very long